No, it brings me to another conversation when you said, oh my God, how could this guy be so foolish with his money? Did your parents teach you about money?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
They did?
They did.
Okay, you, out of everybody that I know, you might be in 3% of 1,000 people, or you know, of 3 of 1,000 people that I would know that would have answered that question. Most people that I know, whether they are poor or excellent with their finances, will tell you that they do not think that their parents adequately educated them about money. And I'm definitely in that camp. And I had to learn the hard way. And it's bizarre to me with what's going on now with the economy, and it's like I described about being upside down in this place right here. There are some things that are completely and totally beyond our control, and there's a lot that is in our control, like those people who went out and bought way more house than they could ever reasonably afford on risky loans, and they were, you know, completely overextending themselves, and now they're getting bailed out. And I just keep paying my bills, and I resent that a great deal. But I look back to times in my life when I personally was not fiscally responsible, and what it took to learn and grow to get out of that. I'm a little bit less judgmental, because I also think of him.
Interesting.
I think of him and how expensive it is when you've got kids in college. He's got one that's in college, I think one getting ready to go. That's a fortune if you're trying to help in any way. And it's expensive to fly back and forth and keep 2 residences and things like that. So he may have had to do that just to, he's not one of the rich guys in the Senate.
True. That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. And probably because my dad was very good at teaching me about that. And it wasn't like he sat down and we had these discussions. It was, maybe it's a little bit innate in me that I am responsible. I've never been, well, that's not true. One time I got myself way into debt, and that was a divorce and all that kind of stuff. But I understood what it took to get out of it. So I've been poor.
Yep.
And I know how it is to get back out of it again.
And not poor is better.
Oh,
far better.
Much more fun. Much more fun.
Yeah.
But it doesn't frighten me either.
Because you know you can take care of yourself.
Right. Yeah. So for me, when I see an article like this, or I see some of these people that, well, they're driving brand new cars, but they've got taken out 4th mortgages on their homes to buy these new cars, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, don't you sit down and realize that you have to pay for what you have?
No. I don't think so. I don't think it gets through, because I can look back at the time when I overextended myself, and it just wasn't real. It wasn't real. And I wish I knew what flipped the switch. Well, my husband was largely responsible for it. And I think, you know, him every day for the things that he has made me do, asked me to do as being responsible half of a partnership. But yeah, I went out and bought a new car when my first new car, when I had no business doing it, and I suffered. I mean, I eventually paid it off.
Now,
kept it for a long time.
Can I ask you, what age were you when you started working?
Oh, geez, 14.
Okay.
But
That's
I spent
interesting.
it. Spent it
You
all.
just blew it. Really?
Spent it all, because that's what my mother did.
Okay.
We
See,
just
in
lived-
my family, that's not how we did things. We always made sure, I mean, it was always making sure that you had money to pay your bills first. That was always taken care of first.
Right.
Then, if there was some extra.
Yeah.
And I worked for that. So, interesting.
Yeah, the economy's going to do what it's going to do, the global climate and all that kind of stuff. But I think the one thing that, if anything that I could go back and I wish I would have learned as a child, which would have been more about money, and because you get it, and it can really have I think I could have gotten further ahead faster, or I probably could have seized more opportunities because I wasn't worried about money than I did. So anyway, I just know that there's a lot of people that are like me. You're really lucky, and I think your parents, I applaud them.
Yeah, I didn't know how to cook or clean or do laundry, but I could do the money part.
That's fair. You know,
it's true. I couldn't do any of that stuff.
Learning how to cook or clean is a heck of a lot easier than the discipline to save, or the need and the drive to save.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably
So I
true.
vote for your parents' style. So anyway, check out the article, and we'd be curious to hear what you have to think, and any good money stories that you have as well. It's Kelly@thegigstunt.com.
Or Teri@thegigstunt.com.